huh?
Yeah, that's why it's got a little thing to it. But yeah, I repaired that one. I guess we go ahead and get started since it's just gonna be us three.
Yeah, we can do that.
All right. Hey guys, thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. This is your host Thomas Tyler from On the Hot Podcast. Today, this is gonna be episode 95 for you guys. Today, I'm joined by my two co-hosts, Rob Cerasuolo and Curtis Green, and we're gonna be starting off the episode hot, following the tweets of Lamar Jackson himself today. So, we're gonna be sharing our thoughts on Lamar Jackson requesting a trade. So, let's start off with you, Kurt. I know you're a Ravens fan. How are you feeling about this situation of Lamar requesting a trade?
I mean, personally, I think that, he want his money. But then again, he's not going to get that. I ain't going to say he's not going to get that number, but, bro, he messed up the whole game. Sean Jackson, bro, he messed it up. He messed it all the way up. Because they paid him all that money. So he's like, oh, I want what he got for real because I'm better than him. But
yeah,
it's like, bro, they overpaid him. They didn't give him that money, and now it's kind of low-key. He want to do the same. He want a bag. That's not how that works, bro. So, if you can go to somebody else who's going to pay you that, go ahead. But like you said, you got to think about your family and, what's better in your favor.
Yeah.
So, hey, if you got to go, you got to go. But, I see him staying. I don't see a team offering him anything that, is closer to what he's asking for.
Yeah.
That's what I think personally is going to happen. And then he's just going to wind up settling for something less.
That could happen. What you think, Rob?
Man, I don't know. I feel a little different about it. There has to be teams that, want him. It's not the teams that want him. It's I feel like they're kind of just waiting it out. And I feel like that, this might be the green light for them, these tweets. But at the same time, I feel like when it comes down to it, somebody's going to give him money, man. And somebody has to. I feel like somebody that's desperate will.
Yeah.
But it just hasn't happened yet. I don't know. I don't know who it's going to be. I have a weird feeling it's going to be Washington.
Don't say that.
But
don't say that.
Nah.
I hope
they
not.
got
I really hope not.
Nah,
Please
they got, what's his name? Jacoby?
Bruh, come
He ain't
on.
gonna cut that.
What's he good? He's a bridge quarterback, man. Even they could cut him if they got Lamar. They don't care about Jacoby Brissett.
Just saying, man.
Bruh.
It just feels like the situation is kind of weird because I feel like this was going to happen eventually, but I think it's weird that he requested a trade 3 weeks ago. They said he requested a trade to the Ravens 25 days ago, but it didn't get public until he tweeted about it today. I just feel like the relationship, it's hard to mend at this point if he does stay. And then once you give him the money, because like Curtis said, he wants an outrageous price. The problem with Lamar is he's been a good player, but they have failed to give him the weapons this whole time. Mark Andrews, even though he's a tight end, should not have been his best weapon throughout Lamar Jackson's rookie career. Knowing one day you got to pay him, so it's for his asking price, you give him the contract, but you're back at square one, not getting him weapons. Now not even in Greg Roman's offense anymore, which that offense was bad, but it benefited Lamar at times, but. I don't know. I think it's just time for both teams to move on at this point and see what the Ravens can get for him, and then another team have to pay Lamar what he requests for. But with that being said, what are your guys' landing spots for Lamar Jackson if he goes to a new team this offseason?
You might hate to say it, but low key, high key, I can see him going to Tampa.
Interesting.
Because they don't have nobody.
I didn't think about that.
That'd be a weird adjustment though, going from Tom Brady to Lamar Jackson.
He's gonna want to go somewhere where there's receivers though. Think about it.
Edwins.
You have that.
Evans, Godwin.
So then, now it could be something right there.
If they fixed up their O-line a little bit more, that would be nasty.
The receivers are there, so just saying.
They were. I don't know how they went 8-9 last year because they still have a lot of offensive weapons and defensive pieces as well. And then if you put Lamar there, that division next year it was already awful with them winning it at 8-9. Then he would basically he would nearly have an automatic play. I mean, the Saints, I think they'll be good next year, but he would nearly have an automatic playoff spot next year if he were to go to the Bucs.
That's right. Derek Carr is on the Saints.
Yeah. That's a wild card one though. I like that one.
I think the Saints will be pretty good. Honestly, I think they'll be pretty good. Yeah. Not like elite, but they'll be pretty good.
Yeah.
I'll just give. Will we just do one at a time, or?
Yeah, we'll just rotate around.
All right. Well, I already said one.
The Commanders.
They're going to be trotting out Jacoby. You're telling me that they're content with Jacoby Brissett and Sam Howell? Are you honestly How can you honestly look at yourself in the mirror and say that, I'm going to start Sam Howell week 1, or I'm going to start Jacoby Brissett week 1? Right. Jacoby Brissett isn't as bad. He's still you're not going to be good if you start him. You know that for a fact.
Yeah.
And I guess Sam Howell, you don't really know that much yet, but I don't know, man. You got to have at least one other option, an established elite option. They have a really good team. They have a good defense. They have good weapons, good running game, solid O-line. They're not a bad team. They just haven't had a QB in forever. Right? I knew Wentz was going to be trash. I told everyone that rooted for Washington that he was going to be trash. Yeah. And some people just didn't believe me. I don't know.
Yeah, I like that. Even though it sounds sick because they are in our division. Our division is only going to get better. The Giants, you guys are improving. The Eagles just went to the Super Bowl, and the Cowboys have made some moves this offseason. So I think the Commanders overall does make sense. I think the only question mark I'd say is because they're selling the team. Would the new owner be willing to get Lamar? Because Dan Snyder's about to leave. But it sounds nasty. But it would be good if he did go there because they got weapons. All they actually are missing is a quarterback because offense is good. Their front seven on the D line is good. I wouldn't want to see it, but that's not bad. One team for me would probably be the Colts. It's possible at this point because they have the 4th overall pick. You could trade that to the Ravens, and then the Ravens can go. You guys can go ahead. At that point, I'm guessing that Stroud and Bryce Young will be off the board. Maybe Anthony Richardson could come to the Ravens. So it's not the worst scenario. I think they need a true franchise quarterback because after Andrew Luck, they've been going through fossil figures. With all these old veteran quarterbacks, you have Phillip Rivers, Jacoby Brissett, Carson Wentz. They all didn't work out. Oh, and Matt Ryan, too. So I think that they really need their franchise quarterback. They just got their new head coach, Shane Steichen. That was the offensive coordinator last year for the Eagles. He just had Jalen Hurts in his system. Lamar Jackson would really benefit in his system. And then I think I just look at it it's a win-now situation for the Colts because look at everybody else in the AFC who they got quarterback. Mahomes, Allen, Lawrence, Rodgers, sooner rather than later. So everybody in the AFC has a quarterback. I don't know if the Colts. If I were the GM, I would go ahead and do it because the AFC is only going to get better over the years, and then you're banking on a rookie compared to someone out there like Lamar. So I don't think the Colts is a bad idea. What do you think as a second team, Kurt?
Let me see. Maybe the Jets. Because who they got? Nobody. Joe Flacco's a free agent. I don't know about Milf Boyd, but
They're probably gonna try to include him in the Packers. They think for Lamar.
Right now they're all in on Rodgers, but if that don't fall through, Lamar is the best option for the Jets too.
Yeah. So
I think that'd be a good pick too.
I mean, like, I was gonna say the Jets, but like I feel like it's for them. It's like a little too high of a price. I don't know if they have the resources. I mean, they'd have to get rid of some young talent, probably. I don't know if they're willing to do that.
I mean,
So
it's probably
they're
gonna be
get
more
Rodgers.
for like. What did you say? They was probably going for A-Rod, right?
Right now they're going for Aaron Rodgers, but if that don't fall through, I think they should get on the phone.
It's not a done deal yet at all. though, by any
What?
means. But, you know, I'd say for my second team, I'd probably do the Colts too because, like you said, like they have the fourth pick. The Ravens could start over. They can hit the reset button.
Like really fast too.
I mean, you know, taking Richardson, you know, he's no sure thing either. You know, like he could not. You know, you never know if he's more of a project. So they're gonna need some time.
Yeah.
And they're gonna have to reset everything with him.
Yeah.
Unless they somehow get like Bryce Young or something.
If he
or
falls.
Stroud, if one of them falls,
Yeah.
or even Will Levis. Like,
Yeah.
I personally don't like Will Levis.
I don't either. We do a mock draft. I'm gonna cook him.
To each their own, yeah. But you know, I think the Colts, like you said, is probably best. It's probably the Ravens' ideal scenario if he left.
Yeah, because you give your quarterback
It's
right
like-
then and there.
Yeah, like with any of these other teams that are in the conversation, with the exception of another one, I'm not sure how high of a pick they have, but we'll get to that. But yeah, I mean, I'd do it if it involved that top pick and another first round pick.
Yeah.
You know,
I gotta.
you're not gonna get 3 out of them though, because like they could just wait and just like offer him a contract.
That's true.
Ravens won't match it. All they'll have to do is give you 2 first round picks.
Yeah.
It's because of the franchise tag.
One of the teams is a wild card. I wouldn't be surprised if it happens, but it's a long shot. I got the Lions, yo. I think that'd be a good situation because thanks to the Stafford trade, they had 2 first round picks this year in the first round, so they could give up. If it costed that much, they could give up 2 first round picks, and they could give up Jared Goff in the trade too for Lamar. And then you pair Lamar Jackson up with one of the bright young teams in the Detroit Lions. Pair him up with Aiden Hutchinson, Jamison Williams, St. Brown, David Montgomery, and DeAndre Swift out there in Detroit. I think that would be a automatic Super Bowl contending team if Lamar was with the Lions. So I wouldn't be surprised if it doesn't happen, but I think the Lions should swing for the fences because with their roster, they're not going to have this much draft compensation like having 2 first-round picks in their near future.
Definitely not.
So I would swing for the fences if I was the Detroit Lions with Lamar.
I like that. I like that pick. I wouldn't see it coming personally, but I feel like that is like a dark horse kind of team, and like they would be nasty with Lamar. Nasty.
Yeah.
I don't know about like their passing game because they actually had a really good passing game with Goff, but
yeah, that's true.
I mean, it would change their offense for sure, and I feel like it would change it for the better.
Yeah.
Yeah. But for me, how about that's your second team, right?
Yeah.
All right, Kurt, what's your third team, man?
The Falcons. Yep. Falcons. We're going with it. I'm going to stick with it.
That's a good one. Because they were all in on Watson last year, but the Browns beat them to the punch.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
I think they would give them, Atlanta out there would give Lamar Jackson the Michael Vick treatment. They treat him like Michael Vick 2.0 out there in Atlanta. What's your third team, Rob?
I was going to say the Falcons. But what if something crazy happened that no one sees coming? What if no, it's not gonna happen. Never mind. I was gonna say, what if the Packers traded for Lamar Jackson? But,
Oh.
no, it's not gonna happen. Do you have your third team? Come back to me on that.
Yeah.
Come back to me. I'm gonna think about it.
Somebody else that's a wild card, but it's a real possibility because they have a top 5 pick. I have the Seahawks. Because I think they could trade their roster, I think their roster is good. They're young still in Seattle. They can use that 5th pick, give to Lamar and Geno Smith. I think they could. It's a tough situation because you have to.
Signed him.
I know that's what I was saying. You give him right to the Ravens. They would have him on a 3-year deal.
Bro, do you know how much dead money that would be for the Seattle? They would not do that.
That would be dead
That
money.
would kill their cap for like forever.
I feel like they could. I feel like it's there. Out of all the 3 teams I said, that's the most long shot. But like, I feel like Pete Carroll feels like with that roster, they could be in win now mode. And he doesn't. I don't think he has much time left coaching in the league. I think maybe he could put up, have a suggestion to the front office, say, "Hey, let's go get Lamar for the 5th pick," and then have that type of roster next year being the NFC. But that's like my. I'll probably say like my least likely situation, but I wouldn't be surprised if they're on the phone trying to negotiate that.
I got one. I got a 13. The Patriots.
But the thing is,
New England.
I don't know how true that is.
Belichick.
Cause they, like you said,
Lamar Jackson.
that's a good duo. But there was reports saying that Meek Mill evidently texted Robert Kraft and said Lamar wants to be a Patriot, and then Robert Kraft told Meek Mill it's all up to Bill Belichick for that to happen.
Wow.
And I think Bill Belichick would take him on that team. So
Why not, man? I personally was never a fan of Mac Jones like that. He's all right.
yeah,
You know, he's like a decent game manager. I think. Like, I feel like the best he's gonna get is like Kirk Cousins.
yeah, they're already comparing him to Bailey Zappi.
I think Bailey Zappi's low key kind of nice. I don't know. I've always liked him in college, but
I remember
I'm
you talked about him, last year on our mock draft.
But yeah, man, I think Mac Jones is like slightly above mid for real. If we're being completely honest, like that's what I think.
So if Lamar were to go there, you think the Ravens would take Mac Jones?
Yeah, 100%.
Good luck, Ravens.
I think they would.
But I like the that makes the AFC so more.
And he wouldn't be a bad placeholder. I feel like they wouldn't. I don't know if they would keep him or not.
Right.
Because I feel like they would want like a running quarterback just so they can they don't have to alter their offense as much. But
yeah,
because they just signed a new offensive coordinator who is similar to Greg Roman, right?
Yeah.
He
was a Georgia's offensive coordinator last year.
Yeah. Lots of slants.
And tight ends.
Coming from Baltimore. What?
Loves tight ends too.
Yeah, he was working with Stetson Bennett. Hey, maybe y'all draft him. He's low. I feel like he's low key gonna be kind of nice.
No.
Could have a late round.
He'll be better than Mac Jones. I'll tell you that. I think
there's a possibility for that too.
They're just he's got low key he can run a little bit.
Yeah.
But not like Lamar or anything.
Mm-mm.
He's got some legs. He can run a little bit, Nah, but yeah, Patriots. I think they should definitely consider it.
Not a bad choice.
I don't know about their team. It's I don't really know what they need. I'm not even gonna lie to you. I feel like they need receivers.
Yeah.
They just lost Myers.
Well, they got Juju, but
Yeah,
they ain't gonna
Juju.
be enough.
No, it's not.
Dang it. What if they got Lamar and brought in D-Hop to New England?
Oh my God, that would be crazy.
That would be tough.
They got a good defense. I know that. Their defense is nice.
Yeah.
They got a nice defense. Yep. But I see what happens to Lamar, I'm kind of, I want something to unfold with him and Rodgers. I'm tired of seeing
every
all
week
these rumors.
every week you waiting, like, when is it going to happen?
Yeah, like, just do it. Stop making us wait.
All right, so we're going to move on to the next segment. And this one, we're going to be talking about, should the NFL draft become a draft lottery system? What are you guys' thoughts on that?
Absolutely not. 100,000% no. Never.
No.
Don't do it. You'll ruin the freaking league.
No.
Teams like the Browns will be trash forever.
Yeah.
Ask me. I'm a Knicks fan. We haven't had a number one pick since Patrick Ewing.
Oh, yeah.
And just think about how long before this year and like the last, I say 2 years ago, the bubble league, but we've been trash for so long. Like I can't tell you how many seasons we had when I was younger that we had 15 wins, 20 wins, like.
Yeah.
And we would get like a number like 8 pick or like, the best pick we've had since like in a long ass time was R.J. Barrett, like the number 3 pick. Besides the number 3 pick, we haven't had one that high at all for forever. So like, I don't know. I like the traditional format a lot better. It allows the horrible teams to get better and even out the balance a little bit. Like makes it interesting. Whereas even if you could be the worst team in the league for 5 years in a row, and you could never get the number 1 pick. Like, that's a lot. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, I get it. It's to keep people from tanking. But, I mean, when it comes down to it, if your team's bad, your team's bad. Like, you know what you have. Like, why not tank? Screw it. Just tank. I mean, if you know you want somebody next year, number 1 pick, just tank. I mean, although, like, it's not ethical or anything to come out and do that. Like,
yeah.
But, there's ways around it. Obviously, you see it every year with the NFL. Some of these teams are obviously not trying in some games.
Yeah.
But
a lot of time, like the Texans didn't try until like the last few games.
Yeah. But hey, that's just the way it is.
What do you think, Kurt? Lottery system for the NFL draft?
No.
Keep it how it is.
Yes. 100%. I mean, you should get picked based on how good you are. So, I mean, but hey, y'all need some help. So, y'all gotta go first.
I don't know, man. I feel like it'd be a good idea.
The Pelicans had no right in getting Zion that year. Like, let's be honest. They were literally like the 12th worst team, and they got the number 1 pick. Like, what is that?
That is
what is
okay.
that, Tom?
I
they
think
had
that's
like a 3% chance of getting 1 pick, and they got it.
I think that's true, but then it's like because the NFL, like you said, it's like full 18 weeks. Some of these franchises got to play, and half of them are giving up after their bye week because they want the number 1 pick. I think they could do it in a similar, I won't want to say a similar way to the NBA, but like do it in a way of because 7 teams making in both conferences, so you have 14 teams in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Everybody who misses the playoffs, I think, should be eligible. But you do it. I think they should find a way to do it a little differently than the NBA. Mm-hmm. But I think that forces teams to be competitive for 18 weeks because, say, if it's a team that's it's 1-15 already, they're just gonna go out there and not play at all. But I think if they give a good effort, it could be that you land with a top 5. I don't want to say top 10 pick because that sounds bad at that point, but like a top 5 pick because the system has changed. And I think it's like because the Jaguars just became good, but they had the first overall pick back-to-back years because one year they were tanking, then one year towards the end, again, they started tanking for the number 1 overall pick again. And the Urban Meyer show was just bad also, but I think that prevents teams from like having the first overall pick for a while. But I think that makes the league a little bit more entertaining if they do that because you could be more aggressive. Teams could be more aggressive trading for the first overall pick like how the Panthers were with the Bears. The Bears were the worst team, but they really didn't need the first overall pick in a certain sense because anybody drafting number 1 in this draft is gonna get a quarterback. They already got Justin Fields, and they got a lot from the Panthers. So I was thinking maybe
they got a haul for that trade.
Yeah, like the worst team could be so desperate enough to move back into the top 5 because they need a quarterback or they need a skilled position player that bad. I mean, I think they have to. I don't want them to. If they ever were to do that, I wouldn't want them to copy the NBA. But I think they could do it in a better fashion than them and make it more entertaining. But I think they should definitely consider that moving forward. Not any time in the next few drafts, but maybe in the next 2 to 3 years, consider it and see what ideas you come up with. But I like the lottery idea for the NFL draft though.
I respect it.
Yeah.
I just don't like it.
It's facts,
I'm
though.
sorry. Like, I'm biased because I'm, like I said, Knicks have went through this turmoil for so many years that like it just scarred me for life.
Right.
For this system that the NBA has. So, I feel a certain type of way towards it. But I get what you're saying. You make a good point.
Yeah, I think it'd be lit though.
Yeah,
It would. It would allow teams that go like 8-9 to get the number 1 pick and stuff. Like it would be pretty interesting.
They make them even more competitive in divisions. Like imagine if our division, how competitive the NFC East was, and then Washington was like what? They went 8-1. Mm-hmm. If they ended up with a top 5 pick, it would change our whole division around because then they could get a quarterback. I think for some teams, I mean, they'd be SOL, some teams would, but I think it makes more competition because you could sit there and say somebody like the Detroit Lions they already have the top 10 pick because of the Rams, but like for them, for example, they were 9-8 and then they land a top 5 pick because of the lottery. Makes them even more like a better team next year. But I think it'd be interesting for like ratings, like divisions and stuff. The teams that just need one more like inch to get over the hump, but they don't have the draft compensation or the right pick to do so that year.
Right.
But I think it'd be interesting. I wouldn't be mad either if they stick with the NFL, like it just stays how it is. But I think to a certain extent, I think that would be better to prevent teams from tanking on purpose, like for the last month or so.
Yeah. Yeah, it definitely does work for that regard.
Yeah.
100%.
All right, so we're going to move on to the final segment here. We'll be sharing our top 3 NBA young teams that can become championship contenders within the next 2 to 3 years. So all young teams that are either in the rebuilding stage or competing right now as a young team are eligible. Who are your guys' 3 young teams you think can be contenders?
I'm going to say the Cavs because, they are a young team now and they're already performing. With the addition of Donovan Mitchell, it just made them like a really good squad. It brought them all together. I didn't think it was, honestly, I didn't know how it was going to work out having 2 small guards like that on the court.
Yeah.
But, it's been working perfectly for them. Their offense has been really doing well this year. Not so sure about the defense, but I'm sure it's fine because they got Jared Allen manning the paint. So,
yeah.
I'm sure that he keeps them afloat for the most part. Evan Mobley, another one. But Okoro, too, has been good.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I think they got a really good squad. I think they're gonna make a run. They might make like a little run this year.
Honestly, I agree.
What seed are they right now?
I think they're the 4th right now. I think they're behind the 76ers, but honestly,
they play us.
I think the Cavs can beat anybody in the playoffs right now in the East, other than the Bucks and the Celtics. I think they could take them to like a 6-7 games in a 7-game series, but I think for sure right now they can beat anybody in the East in a 7-game series. Even the 70s. I'll never trust them in the playoffs. So I just don't know why, but I think that I like their chances matching up against anybody right now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they would play the Knicks. Honestly, I could see them beating us in a 7-game series.
I think
it would be a good series.
Yeah, I think that would go to 6 or 7.
It'll be a really good series, but
yeah.
I think they'll probably win just because I think they're a little more talented. But second team, I'd say, honestly, I'm gonna go with the Thunder.
Yeah.
I think the Thunder, it sucks what happened to Holmgren this year. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's just tragic. He got hurt, like, so early on.
Mm-hmm.
And he had a lot of potential, but even without him, they still looked solid. They're not, that great this year. Let's see where they're at. They're 10th seed, so they would be in the play-in tournament against the Lakers. But I think the Lakers got them, honestly. I think they'll beat them this year, but I think in the next couple of years, once they get Holmgren back, I think they'll be a pretty good squad. I would say, I'd say the Cavs have a bright, that's cap. Because the Thunder have so many young players, like way more young players than any team I know, besides like the Rockets. And like they're already, doing pretty well.
It came from all them trades that they had. Paul George, Westbrook. Who else was traded? It was Chris Paul. Well, I ain't really gonna count the Chris Paul one.
No.
But yeah, they got a lot of picks over the years.
Oh yeah, I got I'll do a third team real quick. I won't say the Knicks because I don't want to be biased. Shit. Speaking of the Rockets, why not them? I feel like they could have a pretty good future. I know they haven't been good this year, but they got some talent. They got Sengun, they got Jalen Green. They got a couple of good young players, but I feel like it might take them a little longer than 2 years.
I feel like they are there, but I feel like there's gonna be a situation that the Rockets eventually, like you said, their young core becomes better, and there's a free agent out there. Like maybe I'm not gonna say that's a long shot to say, but just it's a shooting for the stars. Like Jaylen Brown's a free agent this summer. If he was intrigued by that young roster, he could be like their main source of as a superstar out there, and then help them elevate them to be a contender in the West. That's a long shot from happening, but any superstar could go there because it's Houston.
I do feel like eventually they will split up just because.
I think so. I think it's only been.
I feel like it's always been Tatum then Jaylen Brown.
Yeah.
And I feel like Jaylen Brown is definitely capable of being as good or better than Tatum, in my opinion. I like Jaylen Brown a lot.
Yeah.
I am not as big on Jason Tatum right now just because of what I saw last year in the playoffs. He was absolutely horrendous, folded under pressure.
Yeah, that's true.
But, we'll see that they have a good team this year, so, they'll surely make a run. But we'll see.
Yeah.
If it happens again, it'll get real interesting.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Especially since he's supposed to hit the market this summer.
Mm-hmm.
What's your 3 teams, Kurt? 3 young teams.
3 young teams. I'm going with. I wanted to say OKC as well.
Okay.
The Suns. Suns is pretty young. Booker.
They had some age.
They got
KD now.
Yeah.
They traded all their young
That's right.
guys.
I forgot about them too.
They traded Cam Johnson and all them. Paul Bridges.
Yo, they're not one of my teams, but the Nets.
I
just
because
you said all them trades. Yeah.
I feel like they got better from that trade. Even though they lost their alphas, they got a crap load of depth, and they're all good contributors.
Bridges has been balling, yo.
Yeah, real shit. He's official. I think.
I can't believe they gave him. They had to give him up to get KD, but in the next few years, that might be one of the steal trades that you look back on. Even though KD is a Hall of Famer, but if he becomes like a mega superstar in Brooklyn, they're gonna that's gonna be one of the trades you look back at and be like, wow.
I mean, KD has been hurt for the most part since he got to Phoenix, so like we don't really truly know what he's bringing to their table yet. Like,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? Like,
That's true.
right now the Nets are winning that trade.
Yeah.
So would you consider Golden State being a young team due to the fact they have young people like in that system?
I wouldn't say that just because like their core players are like not young.
So are we talking about future, right?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but like the Thunder's core, they're all young. Like the core is like SGA, homegrown, like, you know, the Kings, you know, De'Aaron Fox and all of them. They're pretty young. I didn't even say.
It's not a lot of like young core out there, for real. Most of them got like kind of vets.
It's some teams that are
Curry's
really
old,
young.
Yeah.
Clay's old.
If you remove them,
old.
like you were
That's what I'm
saying,
saying.
that
If you
don't have a
remove
center.
them, they have young people that's on the rise.
I go.
They have Kevon Looney. He's not. I wouldn't say he's that young anymore. You know.
Kuminga. They got
Kuminga.
Yeah.
I mean, the only young players they have is Kuminga, who's pretty good. Wiseman, who has been a bust.
Oh, they traded him.
And
Yeah.
Yeah, they
bad.
traded.
My bad. Forgot. Damn,
For
they have
real,
no.
it's only-
Bro, they have no big. They've never had big men. I'm not even gonna hold you. They've
No.
never had a good center.
They almost had DeMarcus Cousins, but
Yeah.
he didn't turn out the right way he was supposed
Bro,
to.
they have never had a
Oh
good center.
my God.
This whole time they've had this big three, and you know with KD he was a big four, but you know
They've been loving small
Bogut
ball.
was probably their best center. He was probably their best center, and he was like above average at best. You know.
Hey, they had JaVale McGee. What you mean, man?
I don't
Come on,
even
bro.
know why you mentioned it.
Like imagine.
I don't even know why you did that.
Imagine if they had like even a decent center, like who's like a decent center?
A decent center.
Yeah.
What'd you call?
Like a very good
Nah,
center.
he's not a center.
Maybe like
It's
fringe all-star center. Like if they had something like that, like I feel like they'd be a good
Mobile.
spot. Bobo, that would be interesting. Dude, he's a bucket. I like him. He's a
Hell yeah.
he's a bucket. That man's gonna be good, I think.
Man,
Gonna be straight.
they kicked that man Taco Fall out the league.
I mean, he's just big and slow.
It just sucks. 'Cause
He worked
got
in
movie
college
speed.
though.
He was huge. That's
Yeah.
the only reason he got there. Just he was
Yeah.
huge.
It
Do
just sucks
anything
being
to it,
huge
but-
and like your body is so lengthy. It takes a lot
The
to
difference,
like move.
Bo is like skinny as shit.
Yeah, so he doesn't weigh anything.
He's like the Slim Reaper times like 3 because he's so tall. Like, yeah, I think he's gonna be pretty good.
Who did I say?
Yeah, what you got, Tommy? What you got in the tank?
Rob said two of my teams. I like the Thunder a lot. They have a good young backcourt duo with Shaw Gilgeous Alexander and Josh Giddey. SGA is actually, I think he could win Most Improved Player because he's averaging 30 points per game this year, and he was an All-Star this year. And then, like you said, Chet Holmgren will be back next year. So that's the big three that's building right now in OKC. And like you said, they're competing to at least be in the play-in tournament. That means something nowadays in the NBA. So that's somewhat of an achievement, especially for a young team. So I think they'll be more competitive as the years go on. And then the Cavs, like you said, they're making their first playoff appearance this year. Like basically, without LeBron being there, basically for the first 2 times that he was there of his career. So that's good. Like you said, Donovan Mitchell, Darius Garland, Jared Allen, Evan Mobley, all young core there.
Bro, Evan Mobley be getting bullets.
Yeah, so
He's
I
tough.
think if they get a legit small forward, they're gonna be a problem in the East for a long time. Cause that's the only thing missing out of their lineup. So I like them. I think I'm gonna throw in the Grizzlies though, cause if you think about it, they're like really young. They don't
are.
play like a young team, but
No.
Yeah, I like the Grizzlies being a threat for a while because Ja Morant is their centerpiece. He's back. Hopefully, he stays out the strip club, stays away from pistols and blickies. So Ja Morant is their centerpiece, and then Dillon Brooks is like the Draymond Green of that team. He ain't that good, but he can like get into players' heads, get under their skins, and keep moments in games.
I wouldn't. I mean, I see what you're saying, but like. He's not on Green's level.
No, not close. But I'm saying he's like he can in the future he could like contribute to the way how Draymond Green has.
Sure.
And then Jared Jackson is their defensive ace. I think he is in the conversation for defensive player of the year this year. So I think they're a young core that's already got playoff experience. They got an ongoing rivalry with the Golden State Warriors right now, whether the Warriors want to admit it or not. It's always bad blood when they play each other. And then, how far? They went to the second round last year. They could go further this year. I don't know what it's going to look like come that time, playoffs in the West. But, yeah, those are my three teams, Cavs, OKC, and Grizzlies. But I probably, yeah, like we said, honorable mention is the Brooklyn Nets because they, right now, like you said, they are winning that Kevin Durant trade.
Yeah. What do you think of the Mavs with, you know, Luka saying it used to be fun to play basketball? He said that.
Luka is Luka.
Bro, I saw that coming. Like, I knew that it wasn't going to work. It's not over yet, but it's not looking good.
Right.
I don't know.
That's going to wrap it up for this week's episode. That's all the time we have for you guys this week. This is your host, Thomas Tyree, Rob Cerasuolo, and Curtis Green signing out. We'll see you guys on next week's episode.
See you. All right, guys. Oh, man. Ball.